Late 2017, a Westin hotel outside of Washington, D.C. Executives from 4 major beer companies, Anheuser-Busch, Miller Coors, Heineken, and Constellation, spent 5 hours discussing the decline of beer sales and what to do about it. September 2018, the executives met again in San Diego and heard pitches from 5 of the best ad agencies in the country. They hatched a scheme to launch a marketing campaign like Got Milk to influence customers who had turned to wine and spirits. They were supposed to meet again this March to hear their chosen ad agency's plan. But a month before the meeting was supposed to take place, Anheuser-Busch double-crossed the alliance with their 2019 Super Bowl ad and re-sparked a vicious ad war with Miller Coors, who then backed out of the plan. This is just one battle in their 150-year-long beer war. Anheuser-Busch and Miller Coors have been at each other's throats for decades, and they're not done yet. Anheuser-Busch was founded in 1852, and their crown beer, Budweiser, sat on top of the market. Miller was founded 3 years later, but they were unable to usurp Budweiser's undisputed throne for over 100 years. But things changed when Miller introduced Miller Lite in 1975. Miller focused heavily on advertising with celebrities like comedian Rodney Dangerfield and other famous athletes.
You know, I finally found a beer I can respect. Light beer from Miller. It tastes great.
A good quarterback does his homework on and off the field. That's probably why the 3 of us are all drinking light beer from Miller.
Miller became the second largest brewer in the nation within 2 years thanks to Miller Lite, beating out competitors like Pabst. Miller Lite was the best-selling light beer on the market. Anheuser-Busch was spooked. So it launched Bud Light in 1982. Before that, Miller Lights were referred to as just lights. So Bud made this slightly petty ad.
Give me a light. Bud Light?
Give me a light. Bud Light.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light!
They followed in Miller's footsteps by spending money on sports sponsorships and funny ads. It reportedly spent $2.3 million building the animatronic frogs for this ad.
Bud Wines. Bud.
That spending paid off. Bud Light became the best-selling beer in America in 2001, even beating out Budweiser for the top spot. Miller, which is now owned by Coors, jostled with Anheuser-Busch for the top 3 best-selling beers for the next 20 years. Each company had their marketing sights directly on the other.
So we're getting up and going down.
Miller responded to Bud's King of Beers ad campaign with their own presidential ads.
And I would ask the king of beers what he would say to that. Why won't my opponent debate this issue? Is it because he's a horse, or is it because he's got blinders on? No peripheral vision. Look at me.
But in the past few years, beer sales have been decreasing, especially in relation to wine, spirits, and marijuana. In 2017, Bud Light reacted by launching the Game of Thrones-inspired Dilly Dilly ad campaign. People loved it, but they didn't start spending more either. Bud Light sales fell by 5.7% in 2017. Of course, Miller wasn't doing too hot either. Miller Lite sales declined 1.7% in 2017, and Coors Light sales decreased by 3.4%. That wasn't going to stop Miller from trash-talking Bud Light's successful new campaign. While Anheuser-Busch is living in a fantasy world, we're focused on making sure people here in the real world know Miller Lite has more taste, fewer calories, and half the carbs of Bud Light. Anup Shah, VP of Miller Brands, said in a statement. But under the surface, both brands were scared of customers' growing preference for wine and spirits. So they began collaborating along with Heineken and Constellation on an expensive, wide-ranging, brand-agnostic marketing push to combat poor beer sales. It was reported that it was going to be styled like the Got Milk ads of the early 2000s, and it was hoped it would turn the tide of wine and spirits. As you can imagine, this was a huge deal. Bitter rivals coming together to save the both of them. But during the Super Bowl this February, Anheuser-Busch betrayed the Big Beer Alliance plan. It aired ads that targeted Coors Light and Miller Lite for using corn syrup in their brewing process.
My king, this corn syrup was just delivered.
That's not ours. We don't brew Bud Light with corn syrup.
Miller Lite uses corn syrup.
Let us take it to them at once.
Oh, brewers of Miller Lite, we received your corn syrup by mistake.
That's not our corn syrup. We received our shipment this morning.
You're joking.
Try the Coors Light Castle. They also use corn syrup.
Oh, brewers of Coors Light, is this corn syrup yours?
Well. Looks like the corn syrup has come home to be brewed.
Miller Coors was furious. They sued Anheuser-Busch for misrepresentation, saying corn syrup was only used for fermentation. Obviously, since Anheuser-Busch used the largest marketing platform in the United States to demonize the beer category, we've decided to put that work on pause. Pete Marino, Miller Coors' chief communications officer, told the Chicago Tribune. Not to be outdone, Miller responded by releasing 2 commercials where the Dilly Dilly actors drink Miller Lite when the cameras aren't rolling.
Okay, got it. Cut.
And while the Big Beer Alliance is still working on their pro-beer agenda without Miller, it seems as if any hope of reconciliation has been dashed.
Miller. I have been made aware of your recent advertisement. I brought you your shipment of corn syrup, and this is how you repay me?
Is it really worth it for these 2 companies to fight over a sliver of the market? Not really, when the whole market is getting smaller. Craft beer has been gaining momentum. Check out this video if you want to hear more about that. And in 2015, the University College London found that 30% of young people across England don't even drink, saying it's uncool. In addition, the legalization of marijuana has made its popularity increase. All of these factors mean that the casual beer drinker that Bud Light and Miller Lite are fighting over is more likely to be drinking a glass of wine or smoking a joint. Anheuser. Did I just forget how to say it? In 1982. Was it 1982? It was 1982. We're good. I was like, wait. Make sure you click subscribe, comment, like this video, and don't forget to ring the bell for post notifications. Thanks.